Everything said on this podcast is entirely for entertainment purposes only. This is satirical and should not be considered clinical advice in any situation. Please use your own clinical judgment, using your own knowledge, expertise, and research. Consult with your local eye department if you are unsure, and always act in the best interest of the patient. Do not listen to the things that we say and take it seriously.
Hi guys, welcome to the Glasses Half Full podcast episode 3. Thanks for joining us once again. So today we will be discussing what's in our bags really. Just equipment, not just what's in the bag, equipment we like, we don't like, things that we miss, that we have in our store, that we really value in our store, that we could maybe do without, things that might just get in the way, so on and so forth.
So Osman, as a locum optometrist, what is in your bag? I think your bag is probably more kitted out than the rest of ours.
More interesting.
Debatable on that one, but naturally we'll be a little bit more kitted.
Do you have a Snellen chart in there?
Got 3. I got Snellen and Logmar, and EDTRS for those with wet AMD. So, yeah. No, I don't have Snellen chart. I'm not a domiciliary optom. Locum. So I will have more than these guys because I don't have a regular room, obviously. But I find that most of the time, there's very few things I'll even need. Okay, because even as locum, most stuff is already there. Okay, and to be honest, we're not really using stuff like ret ophthalmoscopes quite that often. No. Let's get this.
Oh, you're not doing retinoscopy on every patient?
Oh, every other patient. Every other patient. Just to stay fresh.
How many bulk lenses have you stolen?
I've stolen 4, sold 3 of them, kept 1, and I got 1 myself. Joke. Stolen 5. Okay. Let's work our way from something I really don't use, a trial frame. I only have this because my university made me buy this.
Fair enough.
It does get some use because a lot of the places that I have locumed, a few of the places are trial frame only, and despite them providing a trial frame, it's normally got a couple of bits missing, things are broken here and there, maybe the nose pads just bare metal, etc. This is UB6 because it's got 6 slots, a couple in the back, 4 in the front. Oculus, there we go. Yeah, it doesn't really get much use. I remember lending this out to a colleague because they asked, can I use a trial frame? They had a child or something like that come in, and they handed it back with all the pieces there. So that was the last time I really lent it out.
Except to me, I'm the exception.
One time, don't make yourself up. So yeah, normally most places will understand it's just like, no, I've not got a trial frame, or yes.
So have you experienced that as a locum, if you turn up to a place with no trial frame and they're trial frame only and they were advertised as trial frame only, what will their general reaction be? Is it typical for a locum to carry their own trial frame, or will they often show up empty-handed?
It's not typical for a locum to carry much, to be honest. The amount of things I've heard managers speak about that locums aren't carrying with them, it's so a trial frame is the very least thing I think they'd expect a locum to carry. Would you expect a locum to bring around a frame
collapsible Snellen,
or even like a trial lens set?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, no, the trial frame I feel falls in the same category.
Although that being said, I do have a trial lens.
Yeah.
Why do you have a trial lens?
But no trial frame.
Yeah, a friend gave me the trial lens set, but they were using the trial
get that on
frame,
eBay. How much are they going? You could get a little bit of off for that.
Maybe, yeah. But I don't use it. I'm a resident, so I don't
exactly.
use it.
That's why you sell on
save
eBay
it until you open your own practice and then put
and
it
then not buy a phoropter. Let's go into these.
Your optometry hall.
These are
lightsabers.
They look pretty cool, don't they? What do you even call these? Just battery attachments for.
That is the
base?
The base of the retinophthal?
Yeah, so
it's the lower half of the retinophthal that is detachable.
Yes.
That you can alternate between the retinophthal.
Where you swap the heads.
For Keeler anyway, I don't know about the rest of it.
It is for Keeler. I got these.
Keeler is supreme.
In a set back when I had my student discount. Mm-hmm. And yeah, if you're a student, get these now. Okay? It's more expensive afterwards when you're fully qualified, even though you are making a lot more money then, obviously. But I recommend...
Link in the bio.
Use our referral code.
This isn't a promo, guys.
Let's reach out to Keeler to give us a
sponsored
discount.
Exactly. And so get them now because you'll need like your student ID or whatever, so you can't just whatever. I've heard of some fully qualified optoms trying to get students to buy the sets for them. never
Yeah.
seen it, but I've heard Keeler warn us about that. And then, perhaps more interesting than the base is the attachments that go on top. Because I've got a specialist Keeler ophthalmoscope.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I lied. I prefer the specialist Keeler ophthalmoscope. I
long
have
one.
the professional one. Okay.
The flat one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The short fat one.
What's the difference between them? I've never understood this.
I just personally, I don't know what the official difference is. I personally prefer it because it sits in the eye socket a little bit better than the professional, which you can't get quite as close. It's not quite as comfortable to get as close. I do like the professional's access to all the controls because they're not spread out over a larger area. It's not further away from the fingertips. It's a bit easier to use. Exactly. But yeah, as I said, I don't really use that much. Most places have a specialist, and that's the one I prefer. Do you guys use ophthalmoscope often?
I used to use it quite a lot.
When? In your pre-reg or as a practicing up?
Well, as pre-reg, I used it very, very much so.
Was that for competencies or staying up to date with your skills, or is that because you preferred it?
It was so I could have the skill for my competency.
So it was a training exercise.
Yeah, it was more training. When I qualified, it became very, very the use of it became much fewer. But I still use it on like kids a lot, especially when they were like struggling to get onto like the slit lamp and stuff.
So is that a height thing?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not a
Height and mobility are generally the reasons.
Yeah, it's mobility. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, I made the judgment call as I saw them walking in, so
You already know.
I already know what I'm doing, so I didn't even attempt it. That just made everything run much smoother.
I don't know about you, Shoaib, but I will do whatever it needs to do to get them on that slit lamp. I'll get them on.
I'll try my best. I think a parent having the child on their knee is an easier way to access the slit lamp than using an ophthalmoscope, because with an ophthalmoscope they don't sit still enough to get some kind of fixation.
And they're
because with the slit lamp, at least you're in front of them. You can say, "Hey, look here, look at the pen, look at the bunny." Whereas on ophthalmoscope, you're like,
But
look
the thing
over
is,
there.
the issue is that they move their chin a lot.
Yeah,
Like,
but
they
if you've
move
got,
their head, and I really don't like
what
that.
I do is I get the parent to sit them on
that
the lap,
annoys me more.
and I tell the parent to hold their head, hold it there, and push it forward.
cycling back over to the topic.
Yeah,
I would. No, it's fine. I feel that if you the margin for error on Volt is much more forgiving than the margin for error on ophthalmoscope. For example, if they're looking around on Volt, not only can I spot where they're moving their eyes or where they're going, I can see more of the eye, and therefore I can adjust accordingly, and I can be back and forth a little bit more.
Yeah, one thing I've realized with slit lamp, when you actually look at the funds, you actually get like some retro illumination around the slit,
Okay.
so you can actually see more than what you're already like highlighting anyway.
Yeah. No. Of course. Yeah. Absolutely.
And a kid
Absolutely. You can see it's a bit more dim. But yeah.
And with a kid with a wide open pupil, you can put a large beam on there.
Yeah, you can
cause them 10 seconds of discomfort and have
Just
a
a
really
full circle.
You can jack that out.
Right on the macula.
Yeah. just 13 mils tall. And it's a complete circle.
What magnification do you do, Volcom?
I do 10.
I've been doing a lot of 6 recently.
I've been on 6 since day one.
Is it from day one? I
use
I
10
quite like
because they taught us at university.
Yeah.
And then I dilated somebody a few weeks into pre-reg, and I moved it onto 6 for a second.
You could just see the entire
and
eye.
then I could see the entire eye dilated, and then I realized, wait a minute, I can do this undilated.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the ret and ophthalmoscope. What here?
What is that?
Nobody knows.
I love it.
Yeah.
This is my favorite thing in his bag.
Nobody gets this. Okay. This came part of the set. I didn't get this separately.
Wait, what do you think it is?
Which set did you, this is when you go to the dentist and then they go.
So explain what you see. Yeah. Explain what you
They
see.
suction all the.
So yeah, it looks exactly like that. You know when a dentist puts
Is
that air suction thing in your mouth
Is
to suck all the
this
saliva out?
your pen torch?
It is. Very well done. Okay,
Why
you
is
probably
it-
saw the light bulb, didn't you?
Why? No, I could just tell because it's attached to the ret.
Yeah.
It's probably the only pen tool that doesn't run out of battery.
Of course, around the battery, but yeah. Oh, that you can replace the
Yeah.
battery.
You can charge it.
So yeah, it's a pen torch. Very bright. Okay, easier to hold. Always stays on. I'm not pinching something to keep on as it dies out. I don't have any of those problems.
I think if I was a locum or even a resident, I would probably, because I have my ophthalmoscope in the back, just behind me, which I never actually need to use. but I think I would have this instead of my ret.
Instead of your ret.
Yeah, because I use my pen torch a lot.
Okay, yeah. Then this is something I use a lot, to be honest, because I'm a locum. Okay, I don't see, and even then, it's not all the time. I don't see a resident having ever any need for this. I don't see most people having ever any need for this. And
Except Monday mornings.
Yeah, or yeah, except the day after you come back in.
Yeah.
But need for this as a need to own one yourself. 90% practices have this on hand. The other 10% probably have it somewhere. But I find it easier just having it in my bag to grab it. It is a focusing rod. Now, I found out shortly after purchasing this that that there isn't just a one-size-fits-all focusing rod. That even though I thought it fit in all of these slit lamps, so a focusing rod. You may be asking, you know your prescription, it doesn't take long, just pop it in the eyepieces and get on with your day. Or just focusing on the patient's forehead, which is something we were taught to do if you didn't have a focusing rod. I say, sure, you could do that. I've been in plenty of practices where the eyepieces weren't properly calibrated, and then you're in a position where you've got to, in my case, have it just above 0. But then you're in a position where it's just all out because you've had to wind the left one all the way back forward, and because you've had to change it, your left eye just sticking out, your right eye's not even touching the eyepiece, and you know something's not right. So then you have to just go grab a focusing rod, focus on the forehead, so on and so forth. Yeah. It's a nice to have, it's not a need to have. But yeah, I don't know if I'd recommend this, but it's something I have, and I'm glad I have because I use it quite often, to be honest.
Fair enough.
Next item is flippers. These never get used. These get used on the occasion. Yeah, I have a Phoropter, but these get used on the occasional retest when they have they're bringing the old glasses. They feel it's a bit too strong. I'll check it with this before I do the refraction, just to have a little bit of heads up. This is something that came in a set. I wouldn't.
What set did you buy? Mine came with the retina.
This is a separate set. This came with a separate set that came with like confrontation rods, bungee sticks, and pen torch and these other little things. In that same set, cross seals. Now,
have they never been used?
I know you say that. Okay, I just for the sake of keep things pristine, I just didn't get rid of the original fabric. But that's the 025.
Have you used them?
Yes. I used to do trial frame quite a lot, especially in my first store, in my pre-reg. I had a very long pre-reg because of COVID. So that meant quite a lot of trial frame testing before I moved over to Phoropter. Were you trained on Phoropter at uni?
Yes.
What? The manual one.
Manual Phoropter, not digital.
There was a digital. There was one digital Phoropter.
We played on
it.
We played on it once.
Yeah.
So you're basically trial frame. Yeah. So it's the same. Yeah. And therefore it's a bit more comfortable. I did make which I think is a sentiment shared by everybody. I did make the swap over to Phoropter and haven't really looked back. Given the option, I think most people would prefer Phoropter.
Next item.
A PD rule. Again, I have used this a lot, even though I thought they came blue. I thought blue was the color. Okay, it's only when I saw one that was fully white, I was like, hold on, that's the sticker. Again, this is one thing that I've used very rarely because most places have something to measure PDs with.
Also, you don't dispense.
I don't dispense at all.
I find that the PDs are easier to take with this than any other ruler.
I agree because the edges are a bit sharper, it's easier to see the line up, etc. It's not overcomplicated with little cutouts for noses or eyes, etc. It's just a straightforward ruler that goes all the way to the edge. The city rule.
I lost mine.
Shocking.
My city rule, I'll show you. This part here has snapped off.
The bit that sticks out to measure.
Very common,
Mehdi's broke it. He did. He sat on it.
Yeah, the city rule. These are for a piece of plastic with some marks on. This is what, 30 quid?
No, it was
17.
17.
Nah, these are expensive.
I spent like 8 on mine.
17.
Inflation and all that.
Isn't that the metal one though?
No.
Metal one's like 50 actually.
Well, 17 quid. It's 17's a lot when you're a student. Everything feels a lot more expensive.
17 for a piece of plastic.
And to be honest with you, that's literally my school, secondary school, had a laser cutter that would cut that. Look, it's not even like a smooth edge.
I think that's on purpose.
No, but I mean, like it's a bit frayed.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's not even like literally a laser printer with a piece of acrylic.
17 quid for that.
Get the template, and you literally just need to stick the template over the top. And
Right,
you're
next
done.
item.
Can we start making? That's
Shall
the
we
next.
start making, let's
side
start
hustle.
this.
If anyone knows plastic manufacturing, hit us up. All three of you watching, us three watching this back. Yeah, this is from old store. It's my nameplate. I left it there. They didn't want it. They sent it to my new store. I wasn't loved. Crimea River.
They wanted you out.
Exactly. They don't want any memory of me. Notepad. This is. I bought this because I bought this in uni. I bought this for the aesthetic. Okay, I bought this to be somebody that writes in a notepad. I don't write in it. It's got a couple of things written in it. It's one of these moleskin ones. I don't use it. Why would you use a notepad? I've got a laptop. I've got a phone.
I know of a locum that writes every patient that they test on the notepad.
It's too much.
Every patient.
Every patient.
Every patient.
Like not just like information about the patient.
Yeah.
Like you're doing a logbook
So
for pre-reg.
literally, so she writes like the customer number and the name, and then roughly what she did, or if there's any like specific problem or something like that. I feel like it's, and then I think she just goes back onto it just so she like rejogs her memory on like if there's an issue or something like that.
Yeah, but that's first of all patient confidential information.
No, they're not going to write down
I think
patient
they
like identifying
just write
information,
customer number and
age or something.
I think it was initials.
Initials
Sure.
you can get away with. You can't write down the name.
It wasn't name. It was definitely customer number.
Yeah.
Okay.
Electronic
Next real item.
This was the sandwich that I had today.
age. Okay, I've got
And
some.
Post-its. I would argue that these are a
Useful.
very useful piece of equipment.
I would agree.
IOP time inserted. IOP needed.
Just loads of stuff. Post-its are one of the most useful. Probably second or third. Okay, most useful item I
So
have.
useful it's unopened.
So useful it's completely in its original packaging and unopened because they're around. Okay, I don't regret having this because I still feel it's good to have. But most places should have some type of post-it or replacement for post-it.
Have a post-it by your desk and write things on it during the day, because I find I struggle to juggle mentally 17 things at once. So
I do.
if I send a patient for fields and I take in the next
I
3
have done
tests, I'm going to write down fields on the thing. So
that. I have a mini notepad though.
Yeah,
Same thing.
Yeah.
Same thing. Except that's not as versatile and attachable to patient information as this
So I
is.
don't like. I have it in my room. So like, if I need a referral, I write it on the notepad.
Okay, but you could do that with a post-it as well.
Yeah,
And with a
but it
post-it,
gets filled quite quickly. This is like a long notepad.
peel it, get another one.
in a day, you don't need more than a post-it's worth of notes.
Or more than 2.
I have like multiple.
Surname.
So like,
C40.
there are some like
That's
capsules and things like that that I need to. I like to follow up on.
Find out what works for you. If it's a post-it, it's a post-it. If it's notepad, it's a notepad.
For a post-it, I'm talking about short-term information, by the way. I'm talking about like that patient needs to come back in for IOPs in half an hour. Just write it down so that when you take the next patient in, you remember, oh wait, where's that field's gone? That patient's gone home. I need to bring them up.
No, this is the notepad I use for like things that I personally need to do to the patient's file. So like if there's a referral, I need to not forget it. I write it on the notepad.
That's going on a post-it for me, to be honest.
Or like if let's say like I don't know.
Yeah, that
Like there's a patient that's here for like flashing lights and photos. I dilate them, but like I don't have time to fill out the form, and I end up finishing off. I write it down so by the end of the day I can fill it out before I leave.
So what we gathered is Mary could do this all with a post-it.
I mean, yeah, you can.
No, but I guess whatever works for you. If you prefer
But
a notepad or
with
something.
a post-it, I might need the post-it, so I have to take it off and then I have to take out another one and put it back on. But with the notepad, I just leave it there.
I stick it on the side of my Phoropter unit. You know the
Really?
The module.
the
The table.
no the
The proctor head.
no the
Stand?
no the screen,
Arm?
the digital
Oh,
invisible
okay,
The Snellen chart.
the
So they're
Snellen.
reading out your customer number instead of Snellen.
On the
The controlling module.
3215.
No. I'm sat here. My table's in front of me.
Mrs. Jackson needs to be referred for.
The Phoropter's here. The patient's looking into this magical box that is apparently 6 meters away, but it's only a meter away. The thing that simulates the 6 meter chart. On the side of that, I stick my post-its.
A lot of these things came in a kit. So this is a budgie stick.
Do you use it?
No,
I use mine a lot, you know.
I don't use mine. I'm not going into my bag to grab this. I'm using the one that's on hand because there's always one on hand.
I use a Snellen on that for kids reading.
Yeah.
Do you not get them to read out the
No, because
chart?
no, because
Sure.
like I don't know how strong some kids' abilities to read is. If they can read letters on Snellen, they can.
You normally
read
can
it
just
on
get
this.
No, I
gather
just
that
say
by
to them,
asking.
spell out the first word.
And I just get them to read that.
And the first
'Cause
word
then I know
is
the letters
now
off by
from
heart as
now
well.
we have reached the trees. But then if they okay, you can see N5. And generally,
Printing on
kids
the
don't
side,
struggle
then
with
you
linear
use-
vision.
Okay.
Now,
Apart from your pen.
you'd think that there's nothing to discuss with the pens. There's lots to discuss with the pens.
What? Okay, you're writing them. With
Pilot G 0.7. Okay.
Wow.
Oh, you got to do the thing. Don't forget the.
Pilot Black G 0.7 gel pen, I guess.
We're not
It
sponsored.
is yet.
Gel pen. Are you
Isn't it?
in year 6? Gel pens.
Sparkly gel pen.
Sparkly.
Year 6, I was in Scotland.
Ooh, red pen as well.
Red pen never gets used.
If they get it wrong.
If you get it
But yeah.
What does
Forget-
that say? VF no.
wrong.
Forget your Parkers, forget your generic Specsavers pen, forget the free one you got at the AOP conference, big up AOP.
Sponsor us,
Parker, yeah, please, we need the money. Parker G 0.7, it's the king, get them.
Spend your money on that.
I would disagree.
Oh, we're going to beef over this.
The best pen is.
Bic.
1 second, let me check the website.
He doesn't know. He doesn't
I know
about
exactly.
Not
pens.
really that good then,
Don't
is it?
listen to this guy about pens. He's having
Look,
to Google it.
No,
His
I
pen
know.
is so good.
I've not googled it
He
yet.
remembers the name.
I'm just
He's
checking.
like, oh my god, this writes so well. What's the name of this
This
pen?
is those that know, they know. The Parker G07 is legendary. Okay, it's the city rule of pens.
I'm just expecting a load of hate comments.
Yeah, you're like beefing over pens.
Well, one hate comment.
Oh,
Out of
wow.
2 comments.
Yeah,
Just give me
that we both wrote.
Yeah, just us in the comment section.
Yeah, fighting in the
This was exactly what I was thinking it is. Cartridgesave.co.uk. When you order an ink cartridge, they put a pen in the delivery. Oh my god, those are some good pens.
So yeah, spend 50 quid on an ink cartridge just for that pen.
No. The practice orders ink cartridges regularly for all the printers in store, and whenever one comes, there's a pen in there, and we all fight over it, and I win, and I have the pen.
Do the fights get violent?
That's what I was going to say. You win.
Not really, we just take turns.
Yeah, okay, he's not winning. He's not winning. No,
As in, I've got one I've been using for about 6 months. It's a great pen.
it's not going to be as ergonomic as this. The click isn't going to be as satisfying. Listen to this. But no,
Okay, right.
Parker G07. Is there anything that...
Wait, is
Oh,
that,
wait, no. I
is that
forgot.
everything?
I left the most important thing at the very end. And I
wonder what
almost
that could be.
completely forgot about it.
I wonder what that
It's
could be.
for Opta.
Just
What's
take
that,
out my
Mary Poppins bag.
Don't hold it properly.
Volk. Okay, so now I have tried many Volks. I have a friend that buys and resells them, and he's kind enough, big up Andrew, he's kind enough to send me a few Volks to try out. They don't have to be from Volk.
Yeah, you know what?
Who does
Volk
Volk
is just a brand.
Volk?
Well, Volk is a brand. I don't know what their names are, but they're out there. They don't have, obviously,
Zeiss makes them.
everyone probably makes something. They don't have the packaging isn't as nice, not as clicky. Unless Volk wanting to sponsor this, hit us up. You don't have to buy Volk. I would still, because this is something you'll have for years and years, and every little something you track with, anything from 10 to 25 times a day, or more, depending, or less, depending. I think that every little bit should count to make that the least invasive experience and least obstacles between that being a streamlined experience. So I would still buy Volk, which is why I have 2 Volks. But you don't really need to. The image quality is pretty comparable with these other ones that maybe not. You should probably be thinking of some knockoff ones. No, these are proper ones made from proper places that just aren't Volk and don't have the monopoly.
What other companies make Volk pens?
I think Hyman makes one, doesn't
I'll ask my friend and we'll add it in the description, which we're definitely not going to do,
No.
but sure. I got the 78 in university, That was my bread and butter in the beginning. Not a very common choice. The 70, it is an all-rounder. This one is a personalized one just because when you're buying it, you can. It is red. Would not recommend red. Now I'm fine, but in the beginning, because I got this in university, I was practicing then in the pre-reg. In the beginning, in the beginning, when I got this, I was practicing with Volk. I was still very inexperienced, and even through pre-reg, sometimes I found that I could end up. It sounds silly to say and embarrassing to say.
You're looking at the vault thinking, "Oh, this fundus is really red."
Yeah, I'd get the red of the vault mixed up with the fundus, or it'd take an extra couple of seconds, and it'd be frustrating. Now, in my defense, I spoke to other people who also got them in red, and I'm not the only person that thinks that. But if you're getting a vault, don't get it in red.
Get it in blue, because blue's cool.
This other vault, it's a 90D. Now, 70D is something that, again, you don't really need. Most places will have Volks. Okay, bring your own Volk. Definitely have your own Volk. 100%. Definitely recommend, as in the lens, not the company. But most places will have it. I stopped using 70 quite early on. I started using 90s. 90 is quite a common one, and it's become my favorite.
90 is basically a smaller superfield.
And I love the fact that it's smaller.
I think I have a superfield. I kind of regret getting it. I wish I got the 90.
Yeah.
Why?
Because it's so small. It's much easier to maneuver it for like little difficult patients, so you can like get it closer to the eye and things like that.
Or you just put it closer to the eye.
No,
because
further
some
into
people
the
have,
eye
like, really
socket.
large sockets.
Yeah, and
or,
some
like,
people, their
large
brow
ones,
ridge
like,
is quite obtrusive.
Yeah.
So the superfield is just wider,
It's
Just
more
a
larger.
lens, yeah.
and you get more field
You
of
get more
view,
field of view, yeah.
which is great.
It's good.
It is fantastic, the field of view. You can get a good field of view with a 90D.
Yeah.
And like, don't get it mixed up. You can get a good field of view 90D. The reason why I would pick a 90D over the superfield, yes, Medi's right in terms of it does have more maneuverability, especially with certain patients.
Yeah.
But I find that I could do that, and then that part's open, so I can get in a little bit further when their brow is really large.
Because what I would normally do is I would just kind of go underneath it and then just angle myself a little bit.
It's just easier with this.
And then just,
and this is.
Or sometimes what you can do is you can move it a little bit further away. You compromise a bit your field of view. You move it a fraction back and move your slit lamp quite far.
You said compromise. You said compromise, and it's super obvious, at least for me, the differences going from a 78. I can notice that oftentimes it would be an issue trying to get in with a 78 over a 90.
I've never considered that before. That a 90D is just a smaller lens, so the maneuverability of it.
It's not. It's
not like when you're.
It's a nice to have.
You don't really notice it.
I wouldn't put that in the decision-making process of buying an 90D. What I would put in the decision-making process of buying an 90D is that you have most of the similarities. You give up the field of view, which is important, I know, of the super field, but A, it's so much better for small pupils.
Yeah.
Okay, it's so much better for small pupils. And B, I find less reflections in it.
In a 90D.
In a 90D. Yes. Yes. I think it's pretty obvious as well. And there is a vault, the super pupil. Okay? To me, that's basically just a slightly better super field that isn't as good as a 90D.
Fair enough.
Which one's that?
Super pupil.
What's your least favorite lens?
My least favorite.
3, 2, 1. Digital
wide field, yeah.
Digital
Unless they're dilated, just put that in the bin. The super digital wide field is good for dilated. Anything else is just an inferior lens. Is there anything that I have omitted or anything I have that you feel is extra?
Extra?
Half of it.
Maybe it's a rule.
Okay. I don't really use that. But yeah, anything that...
You don't have an occluder.
You're right.
I have this occluder.
He has my occluder. He still has my occluder.
You know your name tag, it moves around, so just move it back. I'm like, you want it one day?
I will. I'll pick it up from you tomorrow. I had an original occluder which also had a PD rule on it. I left it in my residency.
The Romains one.
What?
Romains occluder, right?
No idea. Yes, my occluder, a locum broke mine. So my director was kind enough to replace it.
What about a 1 meter rule?
In my bag.
What about a 3 meter rule?
What about?
What are you measuring?
A long form test room.
Working distance.
They're great.
Vibes.
No, like, oh, yes.
Do you not approximate
Yes,
working distance?
I
'Cause
do need this.
There
I
are
do
a few
need this.
rechecks that I get with like other locums that they come in. They're like,
It's a single clinic, Maddie. There's a few rechecks you get in
yeah,
a single
well,
clinic.
so
Okay.
the days that I'm not working, and the
Sure.
locums work, they come in and they're like, oh, I've got these reading glasses and I can't read through them, and then I do
Yeah,
working distance checks with them.
But
and,
working distances, don't you just like put on the glasses, say where is it, and then when they do that, and then you say where would you like to hold it, and they do that.
yeah, no,
Can you not just like
that's
approximate and
standard,
change
but
the
like
prescription?
it's quite good when it's a little bit confusing.
Yes, something that you have that I still need to get is a little portable.
Would you use it though?
100%.
Like for me, I think I don't use it too much now because I know I have a system with it. As a locum, I think it would be quite useful.
No, RAF rule, I think
No.
is one that your test room should have. Mine has one.
For
But
what,
I've
though? What would you use?
for working distances, if I need to measure, I'll get a RAF rule out.
No,
Your
it's,
Phoropter,
what
your
we're
Phoropter. My
talking
Phoropter
about.
has an attachment as well.
the
The Phoropter attachment for the reading chart and the RAF rule are tucked behind the computer in the back corner.
So do you just use a standard reading chart from?
I will pass them the reading chart and I'll say hold it where it feels comfortable and let me adjust your prescription until it's comfortable. And if it's a retest who comes back from a locum, what I'll say is what they'll either say I have to hold it here to read or I have to hold it there to read, and then I'll either add or take off O2.
But the issue with that is I never give it to the patient to hold because every single time they hold it, they
got the elbows on the chair. Okay.
Because they
Yes, yes.
especially when they're quite tall, they read like this, okay, and they like to read like this. But then when they're on the proctor, they do this.
Yeah, you bring it up and it's
Yeah.
it goes from down to up. So
Yeah.
that's why I don't like them holding on a
Exactly.
proctor.
So I always hold it for them, and I measure it.
But yeah, the measuring, what Medi's on about, and he still hasn't mentioned, is a small portable measuring tape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought
Fantastic.
1 meter rule was quite.
No. I thought you meant like a 1 meter plastic
no.
ruler. Yeah, yeah. A small little portable measuring tape. Fantastic pieces of kit. I need to get that.
That's a very good idea.
I
Actually.
do need to.
But you do need to have an RAF rule or something equivalent to measure your amplitude of accommodation.
But you're not going to carry that around. That's not something to have and carry. That's something your store should have.
You just imagine you're walking to the store with a stick. Alright.
I purchased a keyboard in the middle of the working day. I was working in one of the rooms in a store.
Is that the one in your car? I think you leave it in your car, don't you?
Not anymore. Not anymore. It's yeah. It's I had such a terrible time testing with this sticky, like some of the keys weren't working. The spacebar wasn't working with my left thumb, and I used my left thumb to hit spacebar. I had to use my right thumb. Tragedy, honestly. Smallest violin playing. But yeah, it just wasn't a good experience. The keys were sticky, it wasn't really working. Literally, in between patients, I went to the computer store, CEX, and I said, I just want that keyboard, £10, whatever. I wasn't going to go through the director, etc., because that was just going to be far too long. I just got it, plugged it in. Oh, the day went by. Honestly, yeah, business decision. The day went by so much better. So yeah, maybe you should walk around with a keyboard. I have worked in that room a couple of times and it has got a keyboard. But
did you leave the keyboard there? Or did you
absolutely not. I paid for that. I paid for that. That's £10 I purchased. Leave it there? Are you kidding me?
I've got a wireless keyboard and it does my head in sometimes when I disconnect.
Is it the little one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got that.
Those are too small.
Mine doesn't disconnect, but the K key is.
My asterisk in the back corner is broken and it does my head in because whenever the keyboard stops working, I've got to hit it a few times, and then the asterisk key just falls off. It's like I wasn't ever going to use it, but it just looks like it's not there.
Is there anything that you use that maybe isn't very normal?
That's not very normal. No, not
Well,
particularly.
ordinary.
I think one thing that you need to consider is a Ratten filter, cotton buds.
Ratten filter is fantastic.
Ratten filter.
Cotton buds is a good shout.
Cotton buds. What I do is because my store is only 2 testing rooms, and I used to have a small pot of cotton buds, but then the other option went and bought a massive pot that's way too big, and I live in a short form room without cupboards, so I don't have the space for this. So I took an empty box for fluorescein, and I took a TR bag and I filled it with cotton buds.
What's the use of the TR bag?
The TR, so I don't put the cotton buds just straight in the fluorescein box.
Sterile, even though the TR
Sterile,
bag.
yeah, because I took the TR bag, I turned it inside out, I put my hand in the bag like you're picking up dog litter, and then I picked up a bunch of cotton buds, turned it inside out, put it in the fluorescein box, and then I stuck labels all over it and I wrote cotton buds.
So yes, that was our episode 3, what's in our bags. So
More specifically yours.
What's
Yeah,
in
okay,
your bag?
Nathan,
We just
yeah.
about covered it. Everything in there.
barely got through my bag. Thanks for tuning in, and hope to see you at the next one.